This is the most confused I have been about the reception to a film since M. Night Shyamalan's Trap. I have such a differing opinion from the consensus on this one that I genuinely feel like people are trolling me or something. I did not like the end of Oak Street. There are some very brief elements of this film that I found bold or interesting, but the idea that this is a celebration or a worthy homage to the 80s Amblin era of Spielberg films is vomit inducing to me. The start of this film is brutally slow. It is incredibly boring. These characters are very cliche. They are a pastiche of characters you have seen in other movies to such a degree that it feels like you've already seen this 100 times before. It's a take on the nuclear family, but there's really not that much going for it. We also have numerous things just happening, like things just occur. Several events that don't really seem to have causality between them or any kind of thematic through line, that this feels less like a story and more like a list of events. This is what I would consider to be an and then movie. And then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. It is very rarely, but this happens, and therefore this happens, especially in our first act. I am also not at all a fan of the acting. Some people are calling it intentionally campy. I don't feel it's intentional or lighthearted enough to be campy. To me, it just comes across bad. I found the children actors to be borderline incompetent. Ewan McGregor is especially bad. I was laughing at some of his lines, but they weren't lines I think I was supposed to be laughing at. And I wasn't laughing to such a degree that it was so good it's bad. It was just, ugh. Anne Hathaway gives a decent performance, the only actor here who seems even remotely competent, but the writing is so god awful that um, it just feels like a complete waste. I don't even get why she's here. I see a lot of people calling this the best dinosaur film since the original Jurassic Park. I certainly don't agree with that. I will say it's better than Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, which are two of like I've only given probably 30 films ever 1 star, and those two are both among them. I didn't even watch Rebirth because I had just kind of given up on the franchise, so I don't know how that was. So yes, this is better than those, but that is about the absolute floor of a bar. I don't think you can get any lower really. But this does manage to just barely clear that. In terms of dinosaurs, there is actually a lot of dinosaur action, and the kills are brutal. It's just I could not give a single fuck about these characters because there was very little reason to. The film tries to be lighthearted and fun, but it randomly jumps into these family drama elements. Like the dad's an alcoholic. We've got some other things going on, but I never really felt like it was taking any of this that seriously to make me care. And it was also such a bizarre tonal whiplash between people getting killed, very bad attempts at comedy, family bonding is just jumping all over the place that it feels like it has no clue what it wants to be. And I don't think it's good at anything it's trying to do. But when it comes to dinosaurs, there is some action, and it's more brutal than the Jurassic Park films. There was one scene that caught me particularly off guard. I also don't think this movie looks good. I've seen people saying it's shot compellingly. I liked the director's other films, such as It Follows and especially Under the Silver Lake. I found those very intriguing. Here, I feel the choices are not really motivated by the storytelling in pretty much any capacity. They are motivated by wanting to look like a 1980s Spielberg film, except it is filled with CGI, which is very noticeable. Sometimes dinosaurs animations will be literally copy and pasted if there's like more than one, and if you're looking and it's not good, it doesn't look good. There's almost no attempt at practical effects. I'm seeing lots of people talk about, oh, this film has split diopter shots, so that means it's good because it's using a technically obscure thing. Yeah, split diopter is really cool. It's when they take a lens that's kind of split, and it allows you to have the foreground in focus and the background in focus with the middle ground out of focus. Spielberg used to use that a lot, and there's a lot of really interesting things you can do with it. Even Toy Story 4 did a digital recreation for a particular shot that looked really unique. Here, it just feels ugly. It looks ugly. It feels random. It does not feel motivated by the character. If the reviews are telling me how many split diopter shots are in the movie and they're like, oh, this is so good because there's 20 split diopter shots in the movie, that means it was distracting. That means you were sitting there counting them. And if anyone can tell me how that was actually motivated or how that actually had anything to do with what the characters were going through or telling us something about them, please let me know, because I've been thinking about it and I don't have a damn clue. Like, this just feels random to me. The whole movie just feels random. It is just a bunch of stuff happening for an hour and a half. I also felt that the action was very poorly blocked, something Spielberg was a master at. There's one scene involving I guess it's a dinosaur, but I'll call it a giant snake so the people who've seen it will know what I'm talking about. That scene sticks out because it's actually framed and blocked and edited in a coherent manner. The reason it stands out so much is because you can actually follow what's going on for about 5 minutes. And then we're right back to just nonsense. Yeah, I'm almost baffled at how incompetent this feels compared to the director's other works. About 2/3 of the way through this film, it feels like it suddenly gets way bolder. It starts doing things that feel very surprising because the film has been so generic up to this point. But then they're all kind of brought down by an ending which is almost ridiculous, and how willing it is to act like everything is okay. Now, I will give this credit. The ending is one that gets more interesting the more you think about it. And given that this is the director who did Under the Silver Lake, he has kind of taught his audience to think a lot about his movies and to put a lot of work into finding hidden things. The ending is something you could certainly play around with and come up with some interesting ideas the more you think about it. But I'll say on initial viewing, it just feels like everything we've done was kind of thrown away for something that's really cheap. This movie has maybe 2 or 3 times where I did laugh during it. It's just really jarring though, because the way it transitions between tones is it does not transition between tones. It is just, it's a comedy, it's a drama, it's a horror, it's an action, and those are contrasting so much that I feel like it can never commit to anything. I can never hold on to a feeling, and it just brushes over me. I saw this film with my girlfriend and a movie group in my area that likes to go to the movies and talk about them after. So I was with a large group of people, which is usually really energizing to me. However, I have to say, this is the closest I have come to falling asleep in a movie theater in actually several years. This was quite a slog to me, which is impressive because the concept is insanely gnarly and out there, and I feel like it was just wasted. So, needless to say, I am not a fan of this movie. It is actually among my lowest ranked for the year so far. It is currently the lowest out of any of the individual reviews I have done for any movie on my channel so far. I might have 1 or 2 on my 1,000 Movies project list that I would rate lower, but in terms of movies from this year, this is dead last in terms of ones I've covered on the channel so far. It is very low for me. I find it borderline disrespectful that people think this is what Spielberg's films were like. I was deeply disappointed by Disclosure Day from this year. I find Disclosure Day to be miles above this. Spielberg is still a competent director, even if he's working with a not great writer. This was failing on all fronts for me. I am truly baffled by the people calling this a campy classic or a great film or an 80s homage or anything of the sort. I don't get what they saw in this. If you did enjoy it, I'm happy for you. I'm not mad that other people like the film. I genuinely do not get it at all. I gave The End of Oak Street a 2 out of 6 because there are some elements that I like. I guess it is among the better end of recent dinosaur films, but that is about the lowest bar you could possibly have. I don't think we should call it great just because everything else in the field is garbage. That's a very low 2 for me. Like, I'm borderline considering dropping this to a 1. But if you enjoyed it, good for you. I was not enthusiastic about this.